Dear students, welcome to the knowledge series. We are going to discuss under the course EC 407 Computer Communications, the module 3. In the module 3, we will be focusing on the network layer. So what exactly the network means? Network is basically a collection of several nodes entities such as say computers, server, mainframes, or any mobile phones or any other devices that allow for the sharing of data. So when we say a network is the internet which connects millions of peoples all over the world through the several devices. So let's see the slides on the network layer. So what exactly the network layer here it indicates. So if you can see the network layer, it is mentioned that it is the third layer of the OSI model. It handles the service request from the transport layer and further forward the service request to the data link layer. The network layer translates the logical address into physical addresses. So what exactly it means? Now when we see the network layer, on the top layer it is the transport layer. On the bottom layer it is the data link layer. So these layer from the transport layer, it forwards the particular form of data towards the network layer, and network layer tries to transfer that particular data with the appropriate marking of the addresses to the destinations. So in another word, we can say a network layer, it has its own logical address. So that logical address it tries to send to the data link layer in the form of a physical address, or we can say that the network layer translates the logical address into physical address. Now if you look across the main role of the network layer, it tries to move the packet from the sending host to the receiving host. That means here it is having a packet. That packet will be having a sender address, and also it will try to see that where it has to move. So that things from the sending side, it is being transferred to the destination side. So if you look across this OSI model and the TCP/IP model, you can see that the different layers which has been shown, the 7-layer structures of the OSI model, it is being converted to a 4-layer structures where the network layer is being denoted as in the form of internet in the TCP/IP protocols, because IP stands for Internet Protocols. So the main functions of the network layer, if you try to see with respect to the different functional block the network layer employs, such as internet working, packetizings, addressings, routing, and fragmentations. So these are the different functions that the network layer try to do. So in the computer networks, this network layer tries to access certain devices such as say host, media, hubs, switches, router, gateway, firewalls, like that several devices are there through which the network tries to connect to the another network, thereby the sender will be able to send the data to the destinations. Now here when we try to see the network layer, basically what is the role of the network layer is that first is that it will try to look forward that how the network can able to attach the particular address, so that it will be able to route that particular packet to the destinations. That means it is trying to see that there is a guaranteed delivery of the packet should be there. And it tries to see that the packet that it is sending from the sender to receiver, there should not be a delay. So that's why the host to host delivery should be with a minimum delay, or the delay should not affect the informations that is being received at the receiver side. And when the packet, when we say packet is a collections of bits and the informations. So that packet in the form of a groups, or in the form of in the serial form, the several set of packets, when it is been sent, the packet should, after receiving at the receiver side, should able to identify the order at which the packet need to receive. There should not be a jitter. That means there should not be a transmission and the receiving delays, so that the informations will be having a variations, or it is being deviating because of the noise and other factors. Moreover, when the packet is sending over a wired media or a wireless media, there should be a security for that one. So that's why the packet need to be encrypted at the sender side, and at the receiver side it should be decrypted. So these are some of the functions and attributes and some of the features related to the network layers. So what we have seen in the network layer is that in a summarized manner is that it's sections between the transport and the data link layer, where the data which is being received from the transport layer, it is being given a particular structure, so that it will have a notations, or it should be embedded with the sending address and the receiving address, so that the packet can be sent through the data link layers. And it also has another function is that network layer itself is having a logical address. So the conversion of a logical address to the physical address is being made in such at the data link layer, so that that transformation of a logical address to the physical address is necessary between the network and data link layer, because at the receiver side, which device need to be accessed, and it lies on a which network, and that particular informations between the sender and receiver should be transparent, so that there will not be any cause of loss of the packet at the receiver side. And also we have seen the several services like guaranteed delivery and minimize the delay and the order of the packets, and avoiding the jitters and security services. Now we go to the next discussion is on the forwarding and routing. Forwarding means forwarding the packet, and routing means it's routing the packet to the destinations. So in the network layer, a device, or we consider as a device that is used in the internet is nothing but a router. And if you take a switches, we can use it for the internal LAN activities. So when we use the word say switch, it is basically coming under the layer 2. But when we talk about a router, it is coming under the layer 3 devices. So that's why here we are using a word layer 3, that is a router. Even the switches we can also use in the layer 3 scenarios also. So here if you try to see that the router, these are nothing but different routers is being shown in the form of a blue cross, and these are nothing but a link over which the packet is being shared. So here you can see the packet is shown as 0111. So this is the value of the packet, that is on the header side, this particular packet is being shown. So that means it is having some address over which this particular packet header value need to move. So here, with respect to this particular packet header, a algorithm is being shown, that is a routing algorithms. That is a forward table. It is being termed as a forward table where the header value is there and the output link is there. That means if this header value 0111, if it is coming, it shows that it goes to output link 2. If it is a 0100, it goes to 3. If it is a this 0101, it goes to 2. And if it is a 1001, it is going to 1. So that means here different form of a header is being shown, a header value is shown and corresponding to that link. So that's why here if you try to say 0111, this packet has come, then it will take this route because it is going to output link 2 and it goes to the next router. Suppose say this is A, B, C, D, E and F, then it will go from A to C. So this is how the packet is forwarded through the router. That means every time the router forward the packet by examining the header field, and based on the header field index, that packet is forwarded to the corresponding output link. So the routing algorithms determines the value that is inserted in the forward tables. So based on the forwarding table, the routing algorithm can centralize or decentralize the networking. So that is what we means with respect to the forwarding and routing. So now we go to the next important sections, that is a network addressing. As we have discussed, in the case of a network layer, the addressing is one of the important component. The network addressing major responsibility under the network layer is to see that how it can able to build the logical address, and this logical address is basically a software based address. So assume that the host to host connection is there. There is a connection is being maintained between the host to host, and that connection is based on the link, and the boundary between the host and the link. Suppose this is a host and this is a link. This particular section is known as a interface. So there will be one interface between the same host and the link. The next host, there will be another link. So if you try to see here in this router, there will be three interface, because this to this one interface, this to this one interface, this to this one interface. Under this case, there will be three interface because there are three links. So individual three interface is going to. So router is different as from the host because if there are two or more links are connected to it, so automatically you will be defining with respect to the case with respect to the interface. So router may have a multiple interface, but the host may be having only one because it is related to the destinations. Now if this is a router, then it will have a three interface. So here, if this is a end host, then it will be having a single interface. So that is what I mean to say with respect to each interface with respect to the each link. Now each interface is basically it's capable of either sending or receiving the IP packets, and that should have a IP address. So that is very important with respect to the point of understanding is that what exactly the interface means and what exactly the IP address. So every interface, it's just like a port. So every interface should have a IP address for so that based on that IP address, the particular packet will be moving to the destinations. Now in this figure, if you try to see, there are three interface label is being shown at the router sections, and at the LAN point the host connections is also being shown. So all the interfaces that is attached to LAN 1 will be having some number. You see 223.1.1.1. Now here it is ending with that one is changed to 2. Ending number is changed to 3. So this is the host sections. So that is what we termed with respect to the address. So each IP consists of a two-part. This is a IP address. So when we talk about a IP address, it is having a two-part. The one part is a network part, another is nothing but the host part. We'll see in the further discussions. Now, when we talk about in this particular section, let us take this is this particular form is a class C scenario. Let us take that particular scenario, or we take this address. So here 1, 2 and 3, these three dotted section is nothing but octet sections. So these octet first 3 octet is being determined for the IP address, and the last octet that is being determined for the host of this network. So that is what I mean to share with respect to the network section is there, as well as the host ID is there. So that is the link that is going to use it, and the host sections. These two things are being put together. Thereby, we can able to identify the networking and its addressing. Now we go to the next sections of a IP address, because these are the further discussions. So if you try to see here, we are using a decimal values 223.1.1.1. These values is treated as a IP address. And when we talk about an IP address, basically this is to connect to the internet, where the internet address which we define in the form of a IP try to connect to the systems. That means if there is a one IP, in that case indicate that that IP is assigned to only one system, or in another word, no two systems can be assigned to the same IP address at the same time. I repeat again, no two systems can be assigned to the same IP address at the same time. That means the IPs are unique, and these IP address are universally connected to the systems, and that is accepted as an addressing systems. So there is a protocol that defines this IP address. That means there should be a n bits number, n bits should be there, and each bit should have a space of 2 to n, 2 to the power of n. Now what exactly that means? That means, suppose if you take, let us take, this is a small digit decimal value 3. So 3 means it is 1 1. So this 1 1 has been derived from this 3. That means you do divide by 2, then you get a 1 remainder, then another further you cannot able to divide. So if you take a reverse study, it is known as 1 1. So that is you define the decimal value or the IP address value in the form of a binary value, or that is what we termed it as. So that's why this IP address is been termed. Now here if you try to see, there is a IP address which is being defined in the form of a dotted decimal notations and hexadecimal notations. Now if you mean by dotted decimal notation, just like we have seen here in this way, here also we have a 128 decimal number dot 11 dot 3 dot 31. if you rewrite this one in the form of a binary equivalent, then you define it is like this one. 128 having a 8-bit representation from 1, 0, 0 like this one. Similarly, that is a octet. This is a next octet, next octet, next octet. But when you are representing in a dotted decimal, you are defining in this way. It is very difficult to represent in this way, but this is only used for the computational purpose for deriving. So there are when we talk about a IP address, IP address is having a it is being configured into two forms. That is, one is IPv4, another is IPv6. When we talk about IPv4, this is coming under a class in which there will be 32 bits. So you can see 8-bit here into 4. That 8 plus 8, 16 plus 8, 24 plus 8, 32. So this is a 32 bits. Any 32-bit IPs are known as IPv4. So what does it means? That means if you have a 32 bits, that means 2 to the power of 32 different combinations of address space we can able to create. You can imagine, say for example 2-bit. That means 1, 1. So that means that is 2-bit. That means how many possibility? 2 to the power of 2, that is 4 possibility. 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. So similarly for 2-bit we got 4 possibility. For 32-bit we will get 2 to the power of 32 different possibilities. There is another class of IP protocol. The previous one which I spoken, that is IPv4, is nothing but a traditional IP protocol which is commonly used. The new generation IP protocol is IPv6. There we are using a 128 bits. Here only 32. There we are using 128 bits. So that that particular size, you can find that it is a bigger in size, and it will support those larger amount of the host, or you can say that it can able to support a wider address space. So this particular form can also be represented in the form of a hexadecimal notations. So we can try to create the hexadecimal notations, like for the EA 9595, 1D 75, so 0x. So this is a hexadecimal notations over which we try to represent the IP address. So these are the things which I just want to express to you with respect to these particular notations. Now, as I have been using the word binary, I have been using a dotted decimal notation. Let's see this particular figure here. Now, if you see the IPv4 address, binary notation is nothing but this is a binary notations which you can see here. This is a binary notations. So this binary notation is the equivalent which has been derived from the 172.16.254.1, which is a dotted decimal values. So from that dotted decimal value, we are able to derive this particular notations of binary notations equivalent of for the IPv4. Now, if you try to look across that IPv4 section, the binary notations, the problem is that in this case, which I have been in the select zone, which I have been showing to you, the notations is too lengthy and it is difficult to read. So to overcome this problem, we are using the dotted decimal practices. So in this case, what we try to see that we try to convert it by summing up the 2 to the power of n. That means if we try to apply the 8421 codes, so it is 8421, that is a 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. So that is the order we follow in this particular case. So and thereby we try to sum up everything. So yeah, by summing up we get this one. This is 1, 2, 4, 8, 16. So we got 16. So like that we try to do the calculations, and when you make every digit 1, so it becomes 255s. So that is how we try to define the every bit positions or every decimal values with the corresponding decimal using a dotted. So that means that the octet is converted to decimal, or decimal is converted to octet, and that is being given dotted, so that it will able to express you some information. That means it is going to express to you about a network, and another is host. You can just think like you are staying in a particular colony, so or a particular area where you are having a address. So suppose if you are having an address, smaller address means and let us assume that you are having a lesser number of locations, lesser number of a host. So lesser number of a host, so you will be having a address, so you give a big address like this one. So this is the end point of the address. So this value will be keep on changing. If this value keep on changing, so automatically you can add to reach this one, you can create a large number of a link, so that you on that particular scenario you will be able to create a connectivity between the address and the end users. So in the later part, when I am going to show you, you will be finding that the lesser the number of octet, your end address number will be lesser number. More number of octet, you will be able to employ more number of address, so that you can able to reach the host in the large number of the addresses. Or in another word, in a situations where you are having a large number of octet, you can have a large number of host. When you have a lesser number of addresses, the octet, then you have a lesser number of the host. So that is what we mean to say with respect to the different between the host number and the network number. We will understand still further in the next subsequent discussions. Now, as we have seen in this case, we are just stating some number 172, 16, 254 and 1. Now we are going to segregate it out. What I have been saying, that one, you have a 1 octet, or you take a 3 octet, then you can have a host, so that you can reach to the host. And if you are having a more number of octet, you can have a larger number of hosts. These words I am using. This is what we are going to see next. So there, here we can try to see that we are going to discuss on the classful addressings. So in the IP addressing, there are two type of addressing we follows. One is classful and another is classless. And this is basically both classful and classless. It comes under the IPv4, but when you go to the IPv6, then it comes as a classless addressings. So let us see some of the classful addressings figures for the easy understanding. So here the different classes is been shown here, and on the right side you can see it has been shown as a net ID, that is a network ID. A network ID means it actually it's used to represent the number of networks, and this is a host ID. Then you can have a more number of represent number of host is that. That means in a smaller network you can have a larger number of a host, but when you go for a class B, you will find the lesser number of a host. class C you will be finding a still lesser number of hosts because you are having a large number of addresses. When you go to the class D, it is for a multicasting system where you are having a large number of addresses. And class C is specifically it is being reserved for the several R&D activities. So here when we try to see the IP address is basically determines based on the bits, and where you will be finding a network and the host available. And these network and the host, who is going to provide is nothing but the internet service provider, ISP, or the network administrator. They assign the IP address for each devices that is being connected. So let us take that you have a computer and you are connecting to the internet. So when you are connecting to the internet, then your IP network, your system will be having a address. So the IP address is being identified from there. So that is one IP address, that is the network link over which that particular IP address is identified, and that IP address will be having another address is nothing but your physical address, which is your MAC. So that physical address is nothing but your end point where your information will be passing through your that particular IP or a network ID or a network address, and thereby it reaches to your endpoint. So you just think that in your colony there are large number of lines. So the line is what we call it as a network ID, and your house is nothing but your physical ID. So that is a host ID. So this is what we define in the classful form of addressings. Now there are different classes. We have seen A, B, C, D, and E. Now we will study the individual classes one by one. What exactly these individual classes is being stating. Now we'll see the class A, class A. So you can see here, I have initially told that if you see this one class A, there is a byte 1. It is that is a 8-bit. 8-bit is assigned for a net ID, and the remaining 3 bytes, and that is a 24 bits, it is being assigned to the host ID. So you can see this one. This is a 1 ID. This is a 7. This is a 1 bit. This is a 7 bit. So this combined together 1 octet, that is a 8-bit long. And this is a host is a 24-bit long. So that is what you can see. So in the class A, the first bit is considered as the higher order bit. So that is set to 0. So this is the leading bit, that is what we assign as a 0. So and the remaining 7-bit is the network ID. So here you can just remember, you have a careful watch. This 7-bit is a network ID. That means you just think like it is your house where that particular lane or road or the lane is being you are considering. So this is a network. 7-bit is for the network, and the 24-bit remaining is for the host ID. So if you take 2 to the power of 7 only, so that is a 128 network. That means you this class A, if you are using, you can assign 128 network addresses. So that is a every line will be having a, that means like that 128 addresses you can build. But how many hosts you can assign? That is 2 to the power of host bits minus 2. That is 2 to the power of 24 minus 2. That is coming around 1 crore 67 lakhs. So something like that number. That is 16777,214 host address. So you find that it has crossed even up to 1 crore. So that is how we put it in the form of a class A. So but what is the things what you have observed here in this case is that if you try to see the class A categories. The leading bit 0, I have done. You should remember it is a 0. Network bit total net ID bit is how much? This total net ID, that is a 8 bit. Now here, what is the host ID? 24 bit. So network how much? 2 to the power of 7, 128 network addresses you can able to create. But what is host? You can find that 16 lakh, 1 crore 67 lakhs. So that is how you can find this network addresses. Starting address 0000, and what is the ending address? Now here you note. What is this one here? It is 0 and 7 bit. So 7 means how much? 2 to the power of 7, 128. Okay, so that is 128 is there. But we are assigning 0 to 1, that is 1 to 128. But if you are starting from 0, it is 127. That means 2 to the power of, if you like say 2 to the power of 2, that is 4. How you write is 1, 2, 3, 4. But if you write from the 0, then you have to write 0, 1, 2, 3 only. So in the same way. So here it is 2 to the power of 7, so that's why it is 128. But if you write from 0, that become 127. So now coming to the remaining, why it is 255? Because the remaining 24 bits is there. We don't write like this one. We write like this one. The first 8 bit, that is 2 to the power of 8, that is 256. Again, if it is writing from 0, it is 0 to 255. So 255. Similarly 255. So we are dividing that one. It becomes the end address. So you can that means if you are using a class A, your class A addressing will start from 0 and it will end to 127, 25, 250. Sorry, 127, 255, 255, 255. This is the range. So suppose you think like a number is given, some number is given. Now from this number, whether it's a class A, class B, class C, how will you identify? This you keep it in your mind. The answer we will see later. Okay. Now here we try to see the ranges. So 0 to 127 is the maximum addresses of the class A. You may have this much number of hosts, but only the class A will have only this number of addresses. So that is what we have been showing here under the class A. Now we go to the class B. Now under the class B, what you can see is that just try to compare with that one. Now here we just to see how will you understand class B? What it is taken a 2 byte here as a net ID and host ID also 2 bytes. So let's go to here. So this 2 byte means it is 2 into 8 bit, that is 16. So that is 16 bit here and 16 bit here. So 16 bit is for the host and 16 bit is for the network. So out of this 16 bit, the 2 bit is separately assigned, that is 1 0. That is what we define for the class B. So class A is 0, class B is made it as 1 0. So remaining is how much? 14 bit. So that is what we see. So total net ID is how much? 16 plus these two, that is 14 bit plus these two, 16. So that is what we show. Net ID is 16. What is the host bit size? That is also 16 bit long. Now how many it will support? 2 to the power of 4 net ID. How many network address you can get? 2 to the power of 14, that is 16,384. Now when you look across the host, 2 to the power 16, then there is 65,536. So in this scenario, your address per network with respect to the host scenario, that means since the host ID is 16 bit, so the total number of a host in the case of a class B should be equal to 65,536. Now we have to see the starting address. Starting address of a B, from where it will start, that is the important things. Okay. Now here we have written how many? 128 2 to the power of 7 is equal to 128. So 128 is the 128 means you can say that it is a 127. 127 is the end address. So after this end, the next address will start. That is what shown here as 1 to 8. Okay, it starts from 1 to 8. Now from 1 to 8, how long it will go? That is the next things you have to see. It will go from 128 to 191. That is the range you try to see in this case is that it has started from 128 and it has gone up to 191. So if you try to see across in this particular case, what you exactly understand, that means it has taken a nearly a 64 bits. If you add this one 64 here, how much it is coming? It is coming 192. So that means you go from 0 to 1 to 192 instead of 0 to 191. So that is what we try to see here as a 191. So here we try to see a jump of a 64 bit. Now this 64 bit has taken from here. Now if you try to see the second bit 255, this is again coming as the network ID, these two. So here the network ID remains same because we are not trying to do any changes in the next bit, because here again you try to see here it is a 14 bit. Okay, 2 bit has gone. So you will be having how many bits here? 14 bits. So if you divide in the 14 bit minus 8 bit one part, then the remaining is a 6 bit. So 6 bit may 2 to the power of if you try to go to the 6 and on the other hand 2 to the power of 8, that is what we try to see in this case as a 128 bit, and in this case as a 191 bit, because the difference in this case is less. So that's how the distribution is being shown. Class C, just like here 2 bit has taken, here we are taking a 3 bits 110. So this 110 has been taken, and here what we have done 21 bits. Why? Because here we are taking 3 bytes, so that is coming as 21. Okay, so just like sorry, 3 bytes means how much it is? 24. So out of 24, 3 bits we are taken, so 21 bits is here. So this 21 bits is what we termed as a network ID here. So you can see 3 bits here, 110, 24 is the total number of ID, and the remaining that 21 bits is being used for the network ID. And what is the host in this case? 8. Now here also you see the address, this is ending with 191, it is coming here as 192. Okay, so here that 192 it remains here, and here again you try to see this one from now 191 it has gone to 223. So here also you try to see this particular scenario. 223 is there, 225 255 is there, 255 is there, and 255 is there. So the 255 remains for this one. The another 8 bits 255 is there, another 8 bits 255 is there, and the remaining bits it has went for the 223. So that is how you can find the difference. Now class D, when we try to see, you see the class D scenario, it is occupying the full scenario. So class D notations, what you have done after this one, 0 1 0 1 1 0, then again 1 1 1 0. So this is a class D notations. So there is no net ID defined, no host ID is being defined. So this class D we don't define in this way, but after this one 224 the remaining section is being defined with respect to the class D. And for a class E scenario, you can see again it is 1 1 1 1. It's the same node defined everything. This 240 starts here and it continue. So this is known as the class E scenario, and this is how you can try to find the difference between the class A to class B to class C to class D to E. And here also in the similar way you can find the difference. So this is termed as the different classes of addressing, and this is one of the important sections usually comes in the university exams. For your easy understanding, I have put it under these particular sections. Now we go to the certain rules that we will see what it is being discussing with respect to the rules of assigning a host ID. So the host ID actually the function it is to determine the host within the any networks. So the host ID is, has some rules. The first is that the host ID must be unique within any network. And the second is that host ID bits, if all the bits are set to 0, then we don't consider, because it is used to represent the network ID in the case of this particular scenario. And if the host ID bits are set to 1, then also you cannot consider, because if a host ID every bits are is equal to 1, then it is reserved for the multicast, that is the class D scenarios. So that is what we see. So we have to see that we cannot keep all bit 0, or we cannot keep all bit 1. So that is if you keep all bit 0, then it is understanding with respect to the network ID. Another case it talk to with respect to the multicast. Another thing is that if you try to see from the network ID perspective, because the host is basically located within the same local network, and if you are assigning a network ID, if that cannot which cannot be starting with 127, then or we can say any network which is ranging between the 0 to 127, then we can assign that one, or we can classify as under the class A. Similarly, when we try to see that any network ID between 128 to 191, then class B, and anyone between 192 to 223, then it is class A. So like that we define the addresses with respect to the network ID. And the network ID in which all the bits are set to 0, that is basically not we don't assign, and basically it is used to specify the particular host on the local network. A network ID in which all bits which are set to 1, even in that case also cannot be assigned, because it is reserved for the multicast address. So that here also the issue is there, because if you keep everything set to 1, or everything set to 0 conditions. So these are the points with respect to the rules. Now we see some of the points regarding to the classless addressings. So what exactly the classless addressing means? Basically the classless addressing means where we are not using any class, and or we try to have a address depletions, and less organizations who can access the internet. So there we try to see a class full addressing scenario. But to overcome this class full scenario, we go with the classless addressing, because in the classless addressing we try to increase the large number of organization to access. So in a classless addressing, addresses are not basically is divided into classes. However, they are divided into in the form of a block or a different sizes of a block. For instance, only few addresses are needed for a small organizations, or a large number of organizations like to have a thousand of addresses. Then in that case, IPv6 is the basic addressing that we follow, and IPv6 addressing is a classless addressing. And the internet authorities try to understand this particular limitations, and based on that limitation they try to create that class less addressings of IPv6 in the form of a blocks, and thereby it tries to create 8 blocks of 16 bit each. That's thereby it becomes a 128 bit. So that is what you can try to see, this 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So the 8 into 16 bits, because this is a hexa, so that becomes 128, whereas here it is a 4 groups into 8 bits, that is a 32 bits. So that is what we try to see in this case with respect to IPv6. If you try to see the comparisons between IPv4 and IPv6, you will find that IPv4 was deployed in the year 1981. This was in 1999. Why it was recently existed? Because in the future you will be finding that when the 5G starts moving, your large number of address you need, and moreover nowadays IoT and so many different technological development is taking place. So every system to systems, every chip level also, the address form of interactions, if such type of systems exist, then the IPv4 will not able to meet. That's why IPv6, the new protocols is being evolved. Address format of IPv4, you try to see it's a decimal, 2 bit 2 to the power of 8. So that's how it has been defined. Here it is in the form of a hexa. So that's why you can see the hexa form, it is being hexadecimal notation, it is being shown. Now here prefix notations is that it is defined, prefix notation is defined in the form of a divided by 24, and here the prefix notation is defined by 648. Number of address 2 to the power of 32, you can see the size. 2 to the power of 128, you can see the such a big number. So you can able to see that these number of supporting address, here this number of supporting address is being shown. Finally, let's see the different types of IPv6 in short. So IPv6 addresses we categorize as unicast. Unicast means it will identify the unique code on the network, and thereby the single address sender will be there, single receiver will be there. Multicast means it tries to represent the group of IP devices where it is used to find the destinations of a datagrams. And any cast address means it is assigning a set of interface, typically that belongs to different nodes. That's why I mean it is a any cast. Now, what is the advantage of a IPv6? Because one of the advantages is that it is more reliable as compared to the IPv4 scenario. Faster speed will be there because packet can be able to, it will not stuck because of the congestions due to the multiple destinations. Security, stringent security of the data stringent security or a data integrity can be embedded in the IPv6. Routing efficiency is also there, improves in the case of IPv6, and try to solve the global scenario with respect to the current and as well as to the future integration of a large number of devices and the network address what the system is and network is looking forward. Disadvantage part is that due to the wide spread of IPv4, it will take a long time for IPv6 to emerge and penetrate into the networking addressing domain. And another is the communication with IPv4 and IPv6 is not yet streamlined because both are in a two different way it is working, and they need an intermediate technology to make a integrations between IPv4 and IPv6. So these are the basic point which I find in this particular point of a discussion of the network layer under this particular module 3. And with this I conclude here. Thank you.